Reigning king of country music Albie Roman, along with his insanely talented and tough-as-nails wife, queen of country music Dottie Cantrell Roman, have created a country music dynasty. But even though the Roman name is synonymous with authenticity, the very foundation of their success is a lie. When their reign as country royalty is put in jeopardy, heir to the crown, Nicolette Nikki Roman, will stop at nothing to protect her family's legacy while ensuring her own quest for stardom alongside her brother, Luke, and sister Gigi. So that is how they describe the new drama series, Monarch, which we're only 3 episodes deep currently. But I've been thinking about this series a lot because I feel like it's mostly disappointing so far, and it's a shame because I kind of want to talk about like what they can do and what they should do or should have done to make it better. I feel like this has a good setup. Because they're saying the very foundation of the success of this whole family, like this first family of country music, right, is based off of a lie. Okay, yes, there are hints of that, and there's going to be spoilers, by the way, throughout. Like, if you haven't seen the first episode, like, there's like a major spoiler in the first episode. So I will say spoiler alert if you're going to watch it. I don't think you're going to get much out of it, but you can try it yourself. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I feel like it has a good premise and a good setup. It's just not really utilizing it very well. Starting with the fact that the mom says to her daughter before she dies, so this is Dottie, played by Susan Sarandon. They got Susan Sarandon in it to be in this movie, in this series for like 2 seconds. And then right before she dies, she says that she's done, horrible things, and stuff that can't be taken back, kind of a thing. And she dies. And one of the things about this show is, like, I don't understand why the sister, like, there's 3 kids to the king and queen of country music. Trace Adkins, who's actually a country star in real life, plays the king of country, why the daughter, the eldest daughter, isn't looking into it, I don't know. It's really frustrating because I feel like this show has a good premise. It's just not fully leaning into it or utilizing it properly. The writing is just not all there. The execution is not all there. I will say, if you like soap operas, this is your show. I just wasn't expecting. I didn't want a soap opera. It's soapy. It's melodramatic, and not all of the actors are good. So there's that. That kind of doesn't really. I actually like Trace Adkins as an actor. A couple people, I was reading their reactions, their reviews of the show thus far, and they've said that he's not that good. I actually think he's pretty good. He's not given much to do, but I like him. Susan Sarandon's a good actor, but I feel like there's only maybe 3 good actors, and the rest are kind of like they're trying. Like, there's a bunch of actors, and apparently I know that one of them's from, she's either British, I think she's British, and she's they're just laying on the accent, the southern accent thick. It takes place in Austin, Texas, just so you know. Not Nashville. But anyway, I'm going to tell you more about my issues with it. So I saw the promos of this show, and I thought, cool, this is a series where it's a country music family, and they got their fame, via dirty ways, and there's all these secrets, and it is that, they're hinting at that thus far. Like, so far we know that when Dottie was younger, so like the matriarch of this family, the queen, when she was younger, she burned down a barn. We don't know why. We know that the mom has done things, and we know that, some, shit's gone down. But they're not leaning into the premise. I feel like how you could fix this show. I thought that this was going to be like more like the dirty underbelly of like what people fucking do to make it. Like they scratch and they crawl and they like F someone over if they have to. And so far it's not really so much about that. It's like about, the mom dying and, the eldest daughter's trying to be the new queen, but people are like, yeah, no, you're not really the queen, because the youngest daughter really has the chops, but she's kind of like the pariah because she's like, she was basically shamed because she's gay and she's overweight, or, and all that. So, whatever. But she has the chops, like she sings the best, you know? I like her voice. I think she does a pretty good job. I think her and maybe the dad are the most interesting characters because they're, I would say Gigi's the most interesting character. But anyway, I thought like the Romans, so that, the family would be like involved in deep with the mafia. Here's how they could fix it. Like, here's my, like, what I would love to see. I would, something like Dottie committed murder, okay? She probably did, like, in this show, like, thus far, but I don't know. Maybe her dad had ties with the mafia back then. They see that this young girl's talented and wants to be in country music. So they're like, oh, like, we'll give you a career. And there's something like the record company, because they have their own record company called Monarch Records, is like washing money, something like that. And doing dirty shit. And maybe they've been like involved in Dottie maybe comes more involved with the mafia side. Like she like is like, oh, that girl's better than me, so I'm gonna go kill her. Or because she was maybe like raised to be taught it was okay or something like that. And now she's realizing as like an older adult, like, what the fuck did I do? Like that was not cool or something like that. And a journalist whose dad maybe used to work for the record company back in the day mysteriously disappeared, like he was never to be seen from again, grows up and is now uncovering the truth. That would be interesting. And you can have all these side parts about like the kids maybe didn't know about it, like that they're still in deep with the mafia, it was kind of hidden from them, and the eldest daughter Nikki's still trying to become the queen and whatever. And you have all these subplots of like, the pariah youngest child, you have Nikki trying to be the queen, and then you have the eldest child. Even though it's cliche, for whatever reason, I think we need a better reason for as to why him and his, like, Luke, the son, and, Albie, which is the dad, why they don't really get along. Like, other than the fact that, like, it's just cliche that it's like, oh, the son needs to get the approval of the dad. It's cliche. That's the thing with the show. A lot of it is very cliche and predictable, you know what I mean? And very, like I said, soap opera-ish. Just like, oh my god, like, she's sleeping with the brother, but married to her, kind of a thing. And then, oh my god, a fucking pregnancy has resulted out of it. It's just like, this is not why I clicked on the show to watch it. I thought it was going to be the dark underbelly of it, but like so far I'm not really getting that. And also showing these like cutting away to, you know, Trace Adkins, like, burying a fucking, like, looking like he shot somebody, but we don't know who, and he's burying somebody, and then you bring in the daughter, like, oh, the daughter knows that somebody's dead, but we don't know fucking whom, we don't know why, we don't know the circumstances, but somebody fucking dead. Carrying that on for 3 episodes is not enough for me. I need more. And here's the thing, I don't care most about most of these characters. I just don't. I feel like there's probably perhaps because it lacks depth. I care the most about Gigi. That's about it. Because she's getting fucked over. Her wife is having an affair with her brother. And now she's pregnant. And she has the chops. And she's the best, but doesn't pursue it because the mom never approved of her. Like, oh, there's only one queen. And apparently now it's Nikki. Even though we all know that Gigi is better. I pretty much only really care about Gigi. But everybody else, it's like, what? Yeah, I'm just looking at, making sure I said all on that page. Anyway, there's a lot of subplots in this show, which, you know, on one hand, it is good that there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to, like, digest, but they had this subplot where it's, like, a young teen girl is, like, shacked up in this hotel with her mom, and the mom is, like, really insistent on, like, oh, no, you need to get a record deal at Monarch, right? They're trying to meet with, you know, it was really weird because they're trying to meet with Luke, who he's the son is kind of in charge of, like, he's like CEO of the company, and he's running the company, and they're trying to meet, and they're like, oh, well, they're dealing with a funeral for their mom, so it's like, yeah, you're here and you really don't have a meeting, but you're it's like, yeah, he has a meeting with the mom. I didn't really like this subplot. Like, I get it, she's desperately trying to get a record deal, and a lot of people know what it's like to be an artist, and, like, you know, you get rejected, but I didn't know enough about this girl to really care that much, and it was kind of, it felt very forced. Like, all of a sudden they just threw this girl in there, and I didn't really see how she connects with the rest of the story. Like, is she going to get mixed up in the family crap? I don't really see it, because she does end up with a record deal, because after, you know, she doesn't get a meeting, it's like, well, yeah, he's at his mother's funeral, and then it was like, you know, she finds a way to audition. Kind of seemed like it was an impromptu, you know, she auditions in front of, you know, Albie and the grandson, and the thing what I was confused about, she wasn't really singing country, and I'm thinking, like, okay, this is a country record label, right? Like, has a beautiful voice, and I'm like, but that's not country, you know? And it was just weird. It was a weird subplot, because it was just sort of like they threw it in there, and I just didn't really care about these characters because I didn't really know much about them. And it kind of, sometimes it feels like writers are just throwing in characters and like, oh, you have to care because I told you to, because I put them in the story. It's like, no, that's not how you do it. You have to actually build upon people. You just have to. But yeah. It was kind of also weird because, you know, the daughter has a good point. She says, like, there are other record labels. Why does it have to be this one? And the mom's like, no, it has to be Monarch. And stuff like, Monarch is, like, this big, important, you know, record label. When here's the thing, like, if you want to make it in music, there are people that are famous today that were, like, you cannot have your end-all be-all be on one freaking record label, because you could think you're perfect and that these people will like you, they will just reject you. It's like Garth Brooks, I think he like met with like, he was rejected by like 7 different labels before he got signed. He was rejected like 7 times, 7 different record labels, and he's like the second highest selling artist of all time with music. And if imagine if Garth Brooks were just like, I only want to be with one record label, it has to be that one. And I know it's like we have our dreams of like, I want to work with like, you know, writers be like, I want to work with this publisher. You know, that's the dream. But really what's important is like you end up getting your work out there, and hopefully you don't get screwed over. You know what I mean? It's that was weird that the mom, which, yeah, you know, it is a good attitude to have, don't take no for an answer, but like that's why you go to other record labels is what I'm saying. But yeah, I just don't understand how that subplot fits into the rest of the series. It's like she was in 3 episodes. I'm like, okay, she got a record deal, cool, that's it. And there were also just a lot of moments that like they insult your intelligence. Like, why did, like, you know, like that wouldn't happen, you know, just some sloppiness. I do think that there are some performances, because there is music in here, shocker, and some of the performances are really good, but there are moments where they insult your intelligence. It's like, why did Nikki put the pill bottle that was used that her mom OD'd on, you know, in her ex-husband or estranged husband's necktie drawer? It was so weird. It was like, why would she do that? It's such a cheap way to move the plot along. It's like, well, they're thinking they have to figure it out. My outline, it says that this husband has to find this shit, so that way I can create shit to happen and move the story along. But you have to do it in a believable way, for the love of whatever, you know? I also wrote, did I mention that the accents were not really that good? Most of the people were just like really laying it on thick and doing like foghorn leghorn, like it's like, that's not how people, you could just tell like they didn't get the accent down. Anyway, I wrote down, I don't buy Dottie as country queen. The execution of it all is not selling it. Because here's the thing, Susan Sarandon's a great actor, we know that. I don't know why she did this. Maybe because they're trying to create the country queen. They're like, well, we're gonna take a veteran actor and maybe that'll give her the essence of like, okay, queen. No, I didn't really believe she was a country queen. And there are movies where it's a fictional story, but say they're telling a story and the character is a musician or an artist or whatever, and there's times when you watch it and people will be asking, is this based off of a true story? Like they'll be Googling something, is this based off of a true story? And it's not. But it's a really high compliment because it means that this person felt like a real person. They made the characters feel fucking real. And I don't know what it is, but like I said before, it's lacking depth in a lot of places. Build. I just don't buy Susan Sarandon as a country queen. Like, and then for her to be in it for like 1 episode and then appear in like some flashbacks in the 2nd episode, a little bit in the 3rd for like 1 scene, I feel like you could have gone with somebody else that was like a country musician that could actually sing. And then like, I'm not saying Susan Sarandon can't sing, because she has sang in the past and all that, but like who sings country but just bleeds I am a country queen. I just don't buy it really. I don't really buy that she was like the first queen of country. And the fact that she stole Man I Feel Like a Woman in this universe from Shania Twain is like, is one of the biggest sins. It was a cute little cameo, but like they had Shania Twain on there, She didn't even like sing, but it was a really cute joke of like that could have been a big hit for me, and it's like her probably her biggest hit. Like when you think Shania Twain, you probably think, man, I feel like a woman, because it's a bop. Um, yeah, I really think that if they leaned into that more so than like my husband's cheating on me and all the cheating shit and like the weird subplots with like this girl is trying to get a record deal and it feels so forced, and they just added depth to the characters, like it would be so much better like if they leaned into like the mystery of the past, like like maybe the mafia's involved, or it's almost like the country, that part of the fucking country music industry feels like a mafia or a mob, or like unless you're in with us in this family with the Romans, like the family, like you're not safe. Like unless you're here, you're not safe. We think you're gonna have a bigger hit than me, I'm gonna take it from you. Like I want to know about that. I want to see that, because I want to see the writers and the creators and the producers and everybody take more risk, instead of giving me some soap opera thing where yeah. I might continue watching it, just curious to see like how this goes, but it's not getting good reviews, and those are some reasons why. I have never seen Nashville, but a lot of people were like, I was really expecting Nashville, which is about country music stars. Has Connie Britton, like Hayden Panettiere. I've heard of it, never saw it. But yeah, how to get that off my chest. It's just frustrating when it's like, this is why I clicked on it. Like, it's like when you watch a show and you think, oh, it's going to be a commentary about this, or it's going to be about these themes in society or whatever, and then they just don't give you that, it's kind of disappointing. It's like when my sister was talking about watching Fight Club, and she thought it was going to be a commentary about, like, I think she said, like, men and masculinity and, like, how to, like, properly deal with your emotions, and she's like, it wasn't about that. I actually haven't seen Fight Club. Maybe I will, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it. It's just, it's rough. It's like, you have a great setup and a great premise, but you're not even using it. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you soon. Bye.